Preliminary results are trickling in about the American Airlines Flight 5342 disaster in Washington, and it's making Donald Trump out to be a liar. It wasn't a DEI hire who worked in the air traffic control that crashed the plane. It looks like it was the type of budget cuts and hollowing out of administrations and the removal and decapitation of leadership that has marked Donald Trump's beginning days that caused the crash. It looks like there should have been at least 2 air traffic controllers, one watching helicopters, the other one watching planes, instead of one trying to do both. That's a budget and leadership problem. That's not a DEI problem, and that's a Donald Trump major problem. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Earlier reporting from Donald Trump, if he was to believe, it's because the FAA was putting people who were mentally diminished or had other types of handicaps in positions to be air traffic controllers. So it must have been a black or brown, handicapped, one-armed, mentally disabled person that crashed the planes, and blaming Obama and Biden and the rest. Now it looks like it's the very thing that we feared when Donald Trump got in, is that he would hollow out and force to leave those people, those legacy people with deep understandings of the institutions for which they work, and with knowledge, fleeing as federal workers to run as far away and fast away from Donald Trump as possible. First, Donald Trump decapitated the leadership around airline safety and aircraft safety on day one. The head of the NTSB, gone. The head of the FAA, gone. The head of the TSA, gone. Because Donald Trump wanted to get rid of them, didn't replace them, all sorts of acting people. And there's a reason a lot of people are acting and are never made the head leadership there. So that happened. That's all we're only 10 days into the administration. Then Donald Trump decides to furlough and or fire federal workers, including those that work for the FAA in these positions. So with with budget cuts, with employment and hiring freezes, with the hollowing out of leadership, what do you think happens? It all comes to a perfect storm, more likely, last night, when there should have been 2 traffic controllers, but there's only one. Now you have an administration that took its eye off the ball of public safety and is instead looking at penny pinching, cost cutting, getting rid of people, having them furlough, paying them 7 months to get rid of it all. 7 months to get rid of these people of severance payments. That's a Donald Trump problem. And if you think that this is not already in day 10, the symptom of a greater disease in Donald Trump, leave me a note in the comments right now. You don't think more of this is going to happen? See, when that ship hit the bridge and it collapsed in Washington, they immediately started to blame DEI hires back in the Biden administration. It doesn't work now when you're now in charge. When it's your policies, that were just very obscenely implemented without any thought in the beginning days, beginning hours and minutes of the Trump administration, leads to things like, boom, not enough air traffic controllers at the very moment when they were needed. One tracking the Black Hawk helicopter, one tracking flight number 5342 for American Airlines. That didn't happen. We're going to see more of this as he shrinks major departments that are responsible for the safety of Americans and safety of the very voters that put him into office. People that are supposed to be focused on avoiding pollution and illness from air and water contaminants, gone. People that are supposed to be worried about and inspecting bridges, tunnels, our infrastructure, gone. People that are supposed to be responsible for our nuclear power reactors and how they're maintained, gone. The people that are responsible within the military at the very, very top level, forced into retirement. Those that are on the front lines like air traffic controllers, gone. Let's face it, I'm 59, and after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I got to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found pre-alcohol. Zbiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Look, I won't lie. I was a bit on the fence about pre-alcohol initially, but then while hanging out with some old buddies in Miami on a recent visit, I gave it a shot. And with them, it's a great dinner with cocktails and then lots of amazing old vintage wine, followed by cognac and cigars. So believe me, I'm here to tell you, pre-alcohol is the real deal. I got up the next morning raring to go and meet them for our annual basketball game. Go to zbiotics.com/legalaf to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use LegalAF at checkout. Zbiotics is back with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/legalaf and use the code LegalAF at checkout for 15% off. That's just in the first 10 days. And then Donald Trump says, it must have been a woke DEI air traffic controller. No, it was the lack of air traffic controllers, which is on your watch. And as a result of what you're doing, you can't lop off the leadership, leave it rudderless, and then just on a regular Wednesday night, hope things are going to go well in the world of air traffic control in one of the busiest airspaces, the most regulated and tightly controlled airspaces in the world, that around the capital of the United States. See, this is the kind of story and the kind of drill down that only you'll find here on MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF, because the other networks have already moved on. Look, we've got 70 victims. We have that many families grieving. We have people still being recovered from the icy Potomac. And Donald Trump's first thing was to start reading from an old FAA website and blaming it on the website, like the website killed these people. Now it turns out the worm has turned. Now it turns out that it's more likely the fault of the Trump administration. Now, look, I'm not here. I didn't want to cast blame one day into a national tragedy. That's not where go check my, 1,500 other videos. That's not me. But I've been forced into it to respond to Donald Trump because mainstream media is not going to do it. We have to. If you just remember only the last thing you heard from mainstream media would be the press conference with Donald Trump, where he blamed the website, he blamed DEI, and he blamed Obama and Biden, everybody but himself. But now it's coming to fruition. Now it's coming up. And what I want people to understand from this hot take is this is not, unfortunately, going to be the last time this presidency is going to be tested and fail. And people's lives are at risk as a result. You can't shrink the government and take away those people that know what they're doing with expertise in places at the very, very guardrails of protecting people's health and safety, whether it's medical, vaccines, disease and disease control, bridges, tunnels, infrastructure, our power grid, nuclear power, those in the military. You can't get rid of leadership and then expect an organization to run properly. I'm going to continue to follow it all. You're already here on the MeidasTouch Network. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button. And then come on over to Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and hit a button there to help us grow that pro-democracy channel. So until my next Legal AF reporting of any type anywhere, here on the podcast on Wednesdays and Saturdays on YouTube, here on the MeidasTouch Network, on the podcast platform for Legal AF, on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, Legal AF MTN, on Popok Live on Tuesday night, a new podcast that we just launched at the intersection of law and politics. Follow me at all of these places. I'll continue to contribute the way I'm doing now, with one big difference. I'm now full-time on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.